here is an LED light bulb from Homebase that does not work. And the following video is me taking a video of it not working. So enjoy the flickery video that's going to come up now. So can we fix and repair a bulb like this? But that involves getting inside it first, doesn't it? So obviously it's covered in glass. Now I think I might have a way of getting into here. But should we try getting in through the base first? This little pimple should just pop off. And then can we see anything once we get that out? There is a little solder tag there. Let's have a little look, shall we? Put a screwdriver underneath that bottom pip and it pulls off. You see it's got like barbs on it to hold it in. And then you've got the end of the bulb and then a small wire that runs up next to that pit to take the power through. So that's the bottom off. And then we'll carry on trying to prise this off and that off, and this off and that off and that off, and then we'll open up the glass, and I'll show you how to do that in a second. So the bottom end comes off, and then you can see the circuit board in the bottom of the bulb, and that's the wire that was poking out the top. So we need to carry on removing this outer sleeve carefully, and then we should see the circuit board at least in there. Now the outer sleeve just pulls off once you get down far enough, and there is your circuit board. So we've got, oh look, that's interesting, it's wire wrapped. How cute. That's a very old fashioned way of terminating wires, that is. So that must be the wire coming from the filament, the LED filament. And on the other side, so I should be able to measure across there and see the resistance of the bulbs and stuff. That's quite interesting. And then you've got the input here, and then this must be the negative there. Well, the other side, the AC terminal is there. So we put a power supply across there and there. You should be able to measure the bulb between there and there. Ooh, shall we give that a try? Here's the setup. We've got mains coming in. Comes in onto the outer sheath here, which used to be negative. The inner sheath here that used to be positive. Well, you know, it's AC, so it doesn't really matter. And then I've got the meter connected across here and here, which is the wire at terminals for the filaments. So that should be a couple of 100 volts for the filaments in there. Let's have a look. So I'm going to do this live on camera. Haven't been powered up before. And there's the meter. And stand back. Annoying. 277 volts, 280 volts. That's quite high for a very flickery bulb. And you can see the voltage is fluctuating as it's flickering. So I'm assuming, I'm waiting for the moment when one of the filaments dies, which was then. Did the voltage drop then? Oh, there you go. 300. So it goes up to 300 when it's dim. Which I guess makes sense because it's no load on it. You can see it's gone really dim now. Oh, it is off completely, and it's back on. So what I think is happening, because these are multiple LEDs inside each filament, I think one of the LEDs in a filament is making and breaking connection. Ah, it's gone down. Ah, it's full brightness now. Full brightness, and it went up to down to 180. So it's going from 300 to 180. So I think it's meant to be at 300, and it's dropping down to meant to be 180, and it's dropping up to 300 when it's breaking. Oh, it's doing some crazy stuff. Right, let's turn it off before, you know, people get too sick of it. Interesting, because the wire wrap terminals are the only thing connected to the board. If you can pick away the glue, the board is now floating and it's only held on by the wire wrap terminals. So if we unwrap them terminals, that board comes off. And the board is out. And there you go. 20 millihenry inductor. A capacitor. An inductor there. Another capacitor. And on the other side, we've got a bridge rectifier there. A transistor. Or that's not a transistor. That's a little IC. Little control chip. It's probably like a dedicated LED driver chip. There you go. They're getting so small and compact nowadays. The fact that all fits in the base of a lamp is quite impressive, really. And then we're left here with the actual bulb itself. So there's the filaments, and then this is all made in the old-fashioned way of how they used to make tungsten lamps, but instead of using tungsten wire, they use LED filaments. And you can see here, this is the little nub here to suck the air out, which you don't need to do anymore, because in the past you would suck air out. I think you put argon or something in here to stop the filaments from burning out. But of course with LEDs, they don't burn out in the same way, as in these don't get hot to burn out, so you don't need them in a protective atmosphere. So that's rather interesting, isn't it? This is just a completely enclosed case. So obviously they make these on the same lines as what they used to make the filament bulbs with. Rather interesting, really. Right. Let's see what the filaments are like. Shall we see if we can get inside this? I've put the bulb in a plastic bag just to protect myself in case this goes horribly wrong. But what you want to do is grab a hammer and... Wow, they're strong. Ah, not anymore. Well, there you go. That's how you get inside a light bulb. Surprisingly, there was a little bit of a smell when that smashed. I don't know if there was the argon gas inside it, or if it was just the glue that they've used that's been trapped inside there. But there's the actual filament section. So you can see I've kind of bent one a little bit, so I think they're probably broken now. So I don't think you can recover filaments from a light bulb. It's rather annoying. Can you unsolder them? Do they solder in from the top here? That's soldering. They're ultrasonic welded. They might look like they're welded. If they are welded, you can't really do anything with them unless you cut them off, because, and even if you cut them, you've got to be careful not to bend them because they're quite fragile. Well, I tried them on a power supply. Looks like they're all dead, and they're also covered in shards of glass, which you might be able to see. So you really probably wouldn't want to use them anyway. So that's going to go back in the bag and in the bin. So, can you fix an LED filament bulb? No, because it's destructive to take it apart, and they're cheap enough to buy anyway, so why would you bother? But quite interesting to look at anyway. So I hope you enjoyed that, and if you didn't, tough, because you wasted your time now. Anyway, I shall see you next time, and bye for now.